In 1987, a retired steelworker named Harold Voss in Youngstown, Ohio, lived on $11 a week for groceries. Every night, he boiled the same grain because it was the only thing that filled him without emptying his pocket. That meal is number 9 on this list. In 1974, a widow named Etta Lindqvist in Duluth, Minnesota, stretched a single jar of paste across 11 days. She said it tasted like patience. That's number 4, and number 2 was something a tofu shop in Edo used to give away for free, because to them it was garbage. If you've eaten the same thing 3 nights running because that's what was left, this list was written for you. Subscribe, and let's start with the one nearly every household in Meiji, Japan had in common. 10. Dried persimmons, string, nothing else. Farmers hung them under the eaves and let the autumn air do the curing. No sugar, no stove, just time. They come out leathery at the edge, soft at the center, tasting like wood smoke and old fruit. 1 string of 40 could carry a household through February. A grandmother in Nagano fed 6 grandchildren on fruit that never cost her a coin. It wasn't dessert, it was insurance swinging on a porch. 9. Buckwheat husk porridge. Buckwheat husks, water, salt if there was any. Boiled down slow, stirred until the husks broke apart into something a spoon could hold. Bitter, rough on the tongue. The kind of rough that tells you your body's still working. A sack of buckwheat, husks included, could run a family 2 extra months. This is Harold's grain, the one he boiled every night in Youngstown. 130 years and 6,000 miles from the tenant farmers who first made it stretch. Nobody remembers it fondly. They remember it kept them standing. 8. Roasted salt, a hot pan, nothing more. Heated until it darkened, then eaten in pinches, sometimes with rice, sometimes alone. It bites first, then leaves a warmth in the chest, like something was actually eaten. In the poorest fishing towns, roasted salt wasn't a seasoning. It was dinner. A family that could still afford salt hadn't lost everything yet. There's a particular silence in a kitchen after the people who filled it are gone. You still reach for 2 plates some nights before you catch yourself. Feeding yourself anyway, quietly, with no one watching, is still an act of staying. 7. Fermented soybean paste soup. Miso paste, water, whatever scraps hadn't gone into something else. Stirred into hot water until cloudy, scraps dropped in to soften. Deep and salty, almost meaty, the smell filling the house before the bowl does. 1 barrel of paste, fermenting in a dark corner, could season 100 meals across a whole Gunma winter. It was the difference between a house that had given up and one that hadn't. 6. Sweet potato, kayu. Sweet potatoes, rice scraps. Water. Boiled soft, mashed rough into the rice. Cooked down slow until it thickens between soup and porridge. Faintly sweet under the starch. Warm and heavy in the stomach. This is the one that fed people the good land had already forgotten. Sweet potatoes grew in mountain soil where rice wouldn't. And in the famine years of the early Meiji period, whole villages lived on this alone for weeks. Proof that even land nobody wanted could still keep a family alive. 5. Dried sardine soup. Dried sardines, water, whatever green was growing nearby. Simmered until the sardines gave up their salt and oil, pulled out or left, and depending on how many mouths needed feeding. Sharp and briny, the sea reduced to something a spoon could carry. A string of sardines too small to sell at market cost almost nothing at the dock and stretched across a week of dinners. A family eating what the market rejected and calling it enough. 4. Salted salmon heads. Salmon heads, salt, nothing else. Packed in salt to cure, then boiled or grilled whole, eaten down to the cheeks and the meat behind the eyes. Rich and briny, the fat rendering soft against bone. Nothing wasted. In Hokkaido, the body of the fish went to whoever could pay for it. The head, worth nothing to anyone with money, came home. This is Etta's jar, the one she made last 11 days in Duluth, 90 years and an ocean from the fisherman's wife, who first fed 4 children on parts no one else wanted. built entirely from what wealth threw away. Poverty food isn't healthier because it was chosen. It's that nothing else was offered, and the people eating it would have taken more if more had existed. The dignity was never in the ingredients. It was in still setting a bowl on the table when there was almost nothing to put in it. 3. Pickled radish daikon, salt, rice bran. Buried under a stone, left for weeks until tangy and translucent at the edges. Sharp and crisp. The one thing that wakes a mouth tired of plain grain. Every farmhouse kept a barrel under the floorboards because a radish that would rot in 3 days lasted all winter pickled. It turned an empty table into one with a little color left on it. 2. Miso with tofu lees. Tofu lees, miso paste, water. The lees, leftover pulp, usually thrown out, stirred into miso and simmered soft. Nutty and warm, thick and filling in a way plain broth never is. This is the one Edo's tofu shops gave away for free, because to them it was garbage. To a family that couldn't afford tofu, it was dinner. Built entirely from what someone else had already decided wasn't worth keeping. 1. Mugi-meshi, barley rice. Barley, rice, water. Mixed before cooking. Sometimes half and half, sometimes mostly barley when rice ran short. Then boiled the same way rice alone would be. Rougher than plain rice, a little bitter, chewier, the kind of texture that reminds you exactly how much you're eating. Barley cost a fraction of rice through most of the Meiji period, so poorer households stretched every measure they had with grain the wealthy considered beneath them, eating it daily for years while neighbors ate pure white rice. It was the taste of getting by, without complaint, for as long as it took. Pick one of these this week, just one. Sit at the table, not the couch. Set an actual place, and eat it slow. Tell me in the comments, was your family's version closer to Harold's grain or Edda's jar? These meals were never about nutrition or being cheap. They were about a person refusing to disappear, one bowl at a time.